does it for game one of our doubleheader. Mississippi Valley State taking down Jackson State 70-68. Welcome to the HBCU Go Sports Crossover Show, presented by Swiffer. Mop and bucket clean in half the time. I'm Jasmine McKoy. He's Tolly Carr, as we bring you the best stories in sports, entertainment, and culture from around our HBCUs. Tolly, this is our last crossover. It's been fun, and I'm hoping game two delivers just like game one.
Yeah, look, it comes down to the wire. Mississippi Valley State gets it done. It's not that often in the game of basketball that Valley takes it to Jackson State. They did it today. Mississippi Valley State is headed to the SWAC tournament as the 10 seed.
And you might say Inez Turner has a track record of success. The Fayetteville State men's and women's track and field coach once was a prolific runner herself, competing in the 1996 Olympics for the Jamaican national team. Since 2010, Coach Turner has taken the CIAA by storm, coaching at Winston-Salem State and Fayetteville State, amassing 25 CIAA championships, each accompanied by a Coach of the Year award. We spoke to the award-winning coach about her running roots and the joys of coaching young athletes.
Our next inductee is Inez Turner, men's and women's track and field coach at the Fayetteville State University.
My journey of life continues to carry me. Our high school coach will tell us about the Olympics and talk about, competing and representing Jamaica. As I went to Very Technical, I realized how much is there that you can achieve. There was no turning back. And that's what inspires me to be an Olympian. I know that being a track athlete and getting to the Olympic is the highest award when it comes on to your competition. Very Technical High School, which is, by the way, the high school that produces the most Olympian. In high school there, you're making the Olympic team for Jamaica. I remember getting the scholarship out of Very Technical, getting the opportunity to get to some of the biggest places in the U.S.
And look at this, Inez Turner of Jamaica is coming through to take the honor away from the Canadian. Turner wins it.
It's just a joy that I got that opportunity, and I realize how much track and field and where it has taken me from and how it has helped me. Getting the opportunity to coach, I realize how much this can help youngsters to build them for life, build them in the classroom, because this education goes forever. It helps you to motivate and encourage and help them to know that they can move from nowhere to somewhere. There are many times when, these youngsters, they come to you, some of them do come to you broken. They have not gotten the opportunity to realize how much they can do in every area of their life. I know that whatever I pour into them, it's going to go beyond college. And so my main aim is to build champions in every way.
Not only are they champions on the track, but they have a 3.6 something GPA.
Every one of these championships mean a lot, and it comes in a different way. It comes in such a blessing way in every area, and I just enjoy every bit of them, and thank God for every bit of them.
Beautiful story. The end of February was full of celebratory moments for Coach Turner. She led the Fayetteville State women to another CIAA Indoor Track and Field Championship and won another Women's Coach of the Year, earning her 25th of each. On February 28th, she ended the month as an inductee of CIAA's Hall of Fame. We'll take a break here, but when we get back, it's time to check Tolly's pulse next on the HBCU Go Sports Crossover Show, presented by Swiffer. Welcome back to the HBCU Go Crossover Show, presented by Swiffer. And now it's time to check the pulse with that man, Tolly Carr, right here. It's March, Tolly, and it's tournament time, baby. We start this week's pulse with the tournament taking place right now, right here in Atlanta. And we want to give you an update on the women's tournament and what we can know about what's going on with that.
Well, it went chalk on the women's side. It was the number 1 seed Miles versus the number 2 seed Tuskegee in the women's championship. Now on the men's side, totally different story. no chalk. But the Miles women, they win and pretty convincingly over Tuskegee. That wrapped up just a few minutes ago. So Miles going back-to-back SIAC Women's Championships, the first two in school history, and they get it back-to-back.
Awesome. Congratulations to them. Keeping up with the tourney talk, baby. One of our HBCUs outside of the traditional HBCU conference has now won both the women and men's tournament. That's right. Langston University men and women won the Sooner Athletic Conference tournament earlier this week.
Boomer Soda, baby. Yes, they did. That was 3 in a row for the Langston men. And shout out to their head coach, Chris Wright. He got his 300th career victory along the way. And one thing you got to look at Coach Wright, he inherited a team that was 1-27 3 years ago. Woo. He's been there 3 years and has been to the NAIA championship game twice. Hasn't won it yet. And Chris Vincent, a former assistant on the men's team, now the head coach for the women's team, was coach of the year in the SAC, and they won their first championship on the women's side.
I'm loving the trajectory of everything going on, especially this year. We got a lot of good stuff coming ahead. More hoops for you. The SWAC tournament begins next week right here in Atlanta. But Tolly, you wanted to point out two teams with former NBA players as coaches that are rising at the right time in the SWAC.
Yeah, you know, it's one thing to hire famous people and get the splash. It's another thing when you get the splash and the wins. And that's what's happening at Bethune-Cookman and Jackson State. So Bethune-Cookman, a little before your time, a former Atlanta Hawk here. Reggie Theus, back in the day, he used to get buckets. Now he's the coach and the AD. He's been there 4 years. Conference record improving each year at Bethune-Cookman. Same thing for Jackson State since that man has been there. Mo Williams, former Cleveland Cavalier, NBA champion aside LeBron James. They've been winning each year better and better. And you see, look, the number 2 and the number 3 seed, those aforementioned Tigers and Wildcats, 13-4 for Jackson State, 12-5 conference record for Bethune-Cookman. Way to go.
Way to go. A lot of good action. It's so funny how they made him look so small with his own team.
Big,
I know, but those were some big guys. So big game, big guys. Hey, maybe a big win. And that will do it for our last pulse of the basketball season. When we come back, we'll take a special look at the HBCU Women's Presidents. More of the HBCU Sports Crossover show will be coming up, presented by Swiffer. The men's game is coming up at 3:15, so stick with us. 3:50. Well, stick with us because we got more for you.
18 minutes. Hold on.
Welcome back to the HBCU Go Crossover show presented by Swiffer. We'll get you back out to Mississippi for the second half of our doubleheader soon. But first, we're celebrating International Women's Day right here on HBCU Go. The campaign theme for 2025 is Accelerate Action for Gender Equality. We recently spoke with one woman whose leadership models that theme daily. In 2017, Rosalind Clark Artis was appointed the first woman to be president of Benedict College. Since that time, President Artis has served on committees at the federal level, been honored and recognized by numerous organizations, and reimagined the future of Benedict College with her innovative leadership. Dr. Artis gave us her thoughts on the unique perspective female leaders can provide HBCUs and her proudest moment as president so far.
Statistically, about 2/3 of the students that matriculate at our HBCUs are young women of color in particular. So the idea that we are role models, that we have an opportunity to reach back, to lift up, and to support young women is a critically important responsibility. And so I own that, I embrace that, I appreciate that, and try very hard to be worthy of that acknowledgement, especially the building. That was a very big deal. I think that when you get an honor like that, you really are going to spend the rest of your life working to make sure you earn it. I think perhaps one of the things I'm most proud of is our decision to begin a women's business center. So we have a business incubator that is designed specifically for women and minority-owned businesses. The tricky part of that is that we started it in the middle of COVID. We decided in that moment when 41% of small businesses were going belly up during COVID-19, and the vast majority of them were women and minority-owned businesses, that we had an obligation to be a part of the solution. So we stood it up in the middle of COVID-19 and have had a wonderful experience with a number of women and minority-owned businesses across the state. We are the only statewide women's business center to be located at an HBCU. I hesitate to generalize, but I will suggest that women tend to be they're very detail-oriented. very solutions focused. We do a good bit of root cause analysis. We're not quite as 30,000 foot view, and that may be a function of we're very maternal toward our students. We view them as our own children. We want to make sure that they have the resources and supports they need to be successful. We pull for them, we pray for them, we support them on a regular basis. That doesn't mean our brother presidents aren't doing that work as well, but it does mean that we do it in a very special way. I've always been an advocate for HBCUs, an advocate for women's leadership, an advocate for my students. It means now I have to amplify my voice in ways that help to educate people who don't fully understand and appreciate the value of diversity and equity and inclusion.
There are currently over 20 women leading HBCUs as president or chancellor. They all share a heightened battle against a negative public perception of the goals of diversity, equity, and inclusion and its impact on their colleges and universities. HBCUs have always welcomed people from all walks of life and will continue to provide a unique contribution to the education system with women like this leading the way. At HBCU Go, we continue to celebrate Women's History Month by also highlighting women of impact. Mississippi Valley State University graduate Katie Hall was the first African American to represent Indiana in Congress. The Congresswoman sponsored legislation and led efforts on the House floor in 1983 to successfully make Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a federal holiday. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the HBCU Go Sports Crossover Show presented by Swiffer. Game 2 of our doubleheader from Mississippi is coming up. We're highly anticipating that matchup. But Tolly, what was your take on the first game?
Well, the first game, look, it really came down to the wire. And look, it was so good. We were following just live on the stats here. But Jackson State losing to Mississippi Valley State. So the Mississippi Valley State women are in as the number 10 seed. Now, on the men's side, the Mississippi Valley State men can win by 1,000 points. They are not making the tournament, okay? They are playing for pride today. Jackson State will be the number 2 seed no matter what happens because they are ahead of Bethune-Cookman and they won that head-to-head matchup. But we will see some good action today, including one of the top scorers in the SWAC. He might be roughing it up today. See what I did there, Jazz? I stole that from you.
It's okay.
Deshaun Ruffin. He's the number 4 scorer in the SWAC, 15 points per game. 37.3% field goal percentage from the floor, about 30 minutes per game. Arthur Tate, he's the leading scorer for Mississippi Valley State. Points have been a bit of a struggle for the Devils this year, is the Delta Devils, as we see the tail of the tape and you take a look at how both teams have performed. You will see that Mississippi Valley State doesn't score a lot of points, but today could be a very different outcome. Points per game, Jackson State averaging over 70, Mississippi Valley State right at 53.5. Jackson State gets the advantage on field goal percentage from the floor. They share the ball a little better, 12 assists per game as opposed to 8 for Mississippi Valley State. And Valley leading the statistical category that you don't want to lead, turnovers per game. It is what it is. Don't argue with me. The math is mathing right there. You see it. 16.3 turnovers per game for Mississippi Valley State. Their overall record 3-27. Jazz, don't confuse the 13-17 overall record for Jackson State as an indicator that this is not a good team. They lost every single out-of-conference game before SWAC play began. When SWAC conference play started, they have played their way to the number 2 team in the conference.
And speaking of that SWAC conference, that's coming up.
Yes,
the tournament's coming up, so that's going to be very, very exciting. Let's look at some of those standings.
Yep, so the top 10 teams will make it. Southern, number 1. They've had a couple of losses here in the last couple of weeks, but again, I told you about Jackson State over Bethune-Cookman. So even if Jackson State were to lose today, they still have the number 2 seed locked up. Bethune-Cookman, final game of the regular season against their arch rival FAMU, a very good FAMU team that was battling for that number 2 seed for a while there. You got Alabama State, Texas Southern. Do not count out Johnny Jones and company. I know it's kind of easy to overlook them, but somehow they always find it to make it on a Saturday in the SWAC championship game. Alcorn State, not quite the year that they wanted, but they're in there. Grambling State, the defending champions, got a little rough on them out there. Let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That goes Alabama A&M and Prairie View. Prairie View, you need to win today because you look down there, UAPB, 3-14. One game behind you there on the final game of the regular season.
Now, coming up for the men's and women's basketball tournament that we are highly anticipating, I think one thing to note is for 2025, new format for the men's and women's will feature 10 teams. So you heard Tolly say 10 teams. So now there's 10 versus 8, right?
Yep. So they're increasing it, and they're going to increase it year by year because they want everybody to be here in Atlanta. They want to open this up to all of the fan bases because this is Atlanta, the #1 city in America for HBCU alums. And you never know what can happen. That's the magic of a tournament. We were talking about the SIAC earlier. The top 3 teams that you thought would be there for the men, out of there. The #1 team lost in the first round. So these things can happen. So they're looking for a little bit of magic, and more people at the party makes it better.
And that tournament will begin play Tuesday, March 11th.
Yes.
So they're coming from playing games. These are a quick turnaround for these teams. You know, how do you think certain teams will kind of battle with all the back-to-back games?
Well, it's going to be a new environment. It's going to be a neutral environment. Gateway Arena there in College Park, right beside the airport. So it'll be a lot of feel your way through of how this is going to be. A new city for the tournament there. Southern, we've seen them fall a couple times in the last couple of weeks. Alabama State has been the team that loves to knock people off by 1 point. FAMU has this analytic style of basketball. They love to shoot threes as opposed to twos. They're the #1 3-point shooting team in the conference. Southern, a very balanced scoring team. Jackson State always dangerous. Bethune-Cookman on the rise. Look, if I had to give you a prediction here, I mean, I would give it to you, but it would mean absolutely nothing because so many teams have an opportunity, and that's just on the men's side. And on the women's side, gone is the day where you could just take your pen and say, Jackson State versus everybody. That no longer exists on the women's side. Jackson State's still a quality team, but we just saw them lose to Mississippi Valley State. Southern finished the season strong, and they are the #1 seed on the women's side. So this is going to be a quality tournament. It's going to be 4 games every day starting Tuesday. Always love the SWAC, and I think being in Atlanta this year is going to add to the ancillary events, more things happening in stadium entertainment. So it's going to be really cool if you can check it out. Even more HBCU basketball.
Yes, the MEAC. Let's talk MEAC because there's a lot to be said there. I mean, for men's basketball, they had co-champions with Norfolk State and South Carolina State.
Where did the Bulldogs come from?
They came out of nowhere. I mean, geez.
Please save that so we can see that in the future. Jazz going. Norfolk State was cruising along, and South Carolina State just snuck up on them. So it's like MEAC football when everybody gets a piece of the championship there. So South Carolina State is right in there. Delaware State, yes. Look, North Carolina Central, you used to pencil them in. They've had a bit of an off year. Howard, just kind of okay. Coppin State and Maryland Eastern Shore, you see it on your screen. Norfolk State would be, along with South Carolina State, your favorites, but you take the pick there. And again, anything can happen. And on the women's side, you can pull that pen back out on the women's side now, and you write down Norfolk State versus everybody, and I'll take that bet.
Give me diamond. Give me diamond. Now for the men's, Norfolk State coach Jones was named a finalist for the Ben Jobe Award. Now he is having a phenomenal year after losing his the star player and the MEAC 6th player of the year, Alan Bertrand. Look, he's doing something over there.
Coach Jones is a model of consistency. 4 straight seasons of 20-plus wins or more. He accomplished that this year, the first team in MEAC history to do that. Coach Jones has been at Norfolk State 12 seasons now. He has only had 1 losing season. So there was a time where maybe Norfolk State was not the team that you said they run the league in the MEAC. But Coach Jones, if you look at the body of work over the last decade, you tell me who's running the MEAC right now. I would have to say during the regular season, of course, and postseason being a totally different thing. But during the regular season, it's been Norfolk State's league the last few seasons.
Yeah, and so it seems like I can't make predictions either. He's our expert. He earned that title today, breaking down all of the qualifications needed.
English and math. I'm sorry.
Okay, don't make me look crazy. Now for the women, one thing to note about Norfolk State is they lead the conference in assists, steals. They
have Diamond Johnson.
They have Diamond Johnson. They're second. They're not first, but they're second in blocked shots. how can viewers at home, who can we see? Who can compete with this team? I know it's crazy to
Norfolk
say,
State will have to beat Norfolk State for them not to win the MEAC tournament. It would have to be one of those games where they're just not focused, unforced turnovers, bad shooting percentage, one of those games where they uncharacteristically just can't make a free throw. It would have to be one of those games, because when Norfolk State is at 80% or better of their normal selves, look, they have run through the conference all season, unbeaten in the MEAC. So the best indicator of future performance is past performance. And past performance says Norfolk State will beat every team in the MEAC that they face. Now, again, it's the tournament time. It's madness, whatever you want to call it, whatever we're allowed to say. Anything can happen, but if we go by chalk, Norfolk State.
Yeah, so let's hear from some players for Beyond the Huddle and see what they're looking like.
One of my hidden talents, to me personally, I think I can sing, but other people may not think so. And I also like to write because I think my handwriting is very pretty.
Drake, obviously Drake. I want to say some Alicia Keys, some Moneybag, some Young Dolph. Just a little mix of everything.
How I handle pressure is most of the time my parents would be in the stands. I look at my mom, she'd give me a head nod, and I keep it going.
The most important person in my life would definitely have to be my mother, just because that's my world, that's my rock.
You know, I said Beyond the Huddle there, but I think my mind, just because we're in March, I'm already like, football, come on.
You're thinking
but I
about
need to
how much
slow
you're going to miss
down.
us, and you'll see us again in football season.
Yeah. But we're going to come back after a quick break. We got more HBCU Go crossover show coming up after this.